Now, normally when I'm working on my comic here, I'm drawing these pages, like I got this guy jumping and dodging a bunch of projectiles, right? Whenever I'm working on stuff like this, I like to hop on Discord in some of the public servers, just to hear the background noise or talk and interact with people while I draw. It helps me pass the time, you know, but honestly, bro, I regret doing that last night because I met one of the dumbest fucking people ever. Now, you could talk about pretty much anything in there, and recently I've been meeting people who like talking about manga and anime and that type of stuff, so I started having those conversations more frequently, until I met this one absolute moron that had the worst take I've heard in a while. Dude said Berserk is way worse of a story than Mushoku Tensei, and he said he read the both of them and all of this bullshit. I don't think he did. I really don't think he did after listening to him for a little bit. I just think he's one of those Mushoku Tensei fans that tries to justify a lot of the weird shit that happens in that anime manga, and then compare it to Berserk as some type of bullshit cop-out or excuse. That's what I really think of this guy. I think he's one of those piece of shit people, because dude legit said he thinks it's worse. That is crazy. This is how I was reacting.
You what?
Because I'm like, yo, all of the alarms are like firing off in my head, and I'm like, yeah, I need to make a video talking about this guy, you know, because I think it's absolutely moronic. I made a video about this in the past, like last year, when someone in my personal life attacked me over Mushoku Tensei because I dropped the show, and I really do hate the show. I fucking hate the show. I hate the writing. I think the author is a fucking degenerate, okay? I think the author is one of those creepy people that puts his fetish into his story and tries to justify it as fiction, you know. But anyway, we'll get into that some more in a little bit, right? So this person tried to use this scene here. Everyone knows this scene. This is the scene where Griffith was sexually assaulting Casca, and he was trying to use this scene as an example as to why Berserk is worse than Mushoku Tensei because of how messed up this scene was. And he tried using a few other scenes, like everyone knows the horse scene and the Y-Lad scenes. He tried talking about these things, and here's the main difference, you absolute fucking moron, because I actually did have this debate with him as well. Here's the main difference. These people, these things that you're seeing doing these evil deeds, these sexual degenerate assault, rape, like all of those things, right? They're monsters. They're literal demons, you fucking fool. That's the difference between Berserk and Mushoku Tensei. Mushoku Tensei is about a conscious adult, a grown man doing weirdo shit to kids, right? And I don't care how great the animation is, I don't care how good the writing for some of its characters are. All of that flies out the window when you look at the context. The show, Mushoku Tensei specifically, is basically just a pedophile harem, right? It's a pedo harem fantasy, right? I'm gonna start calling it Mopedo Tensei, right? So Mopedo Tensei, right, is just a fantasy for this fat 40-something-year-old guy to be reincarnated into a handsome young man's body, and now he can prey on a bunch of young girls in a fantasy world. That's all the manga is about, and some people who don't know this need a little bit of evidence, so I'll show you. When you look at this picture here, this isn't a baby. At this point of the story, it's a literal 34-year-old man in this body, in the body that you're seeing here, right? So that's a 34-year-old man choosing to steal someone's panties and put it over his face, right? And also, when, you know, a lot of people love to praise the romance, it's not, you shouldn't be praising this shit, because this is what's actually happening, right? This is just a shell, it's a disguise. This is what's actually happening at this point. So, you know, we'll actually, you know what, let me get into the fucking specifics, man. I need to get into the specifics, because let me loop this, right? Because some of y'all just don't fully understand what's happening with this series, right? I think a lot of the fans are a bunch of empty-headed fucking morons, you know, because at the end of the day, when you look at this, we got a 6-year-old girl. I think she's 6 years old in this scene, right? And this is the same character over here on the right. So Rudius. At this point you might think, okay, he's 6 years old as well. No, the fuck he's not. He's 34 plus 6 years old. He died in his original body at 34, and now you add that 6-year-old time span he's been living in this fantasy world to his age. He is 40. You got a 40-year-old man grooming this 6-year-old girl, and he eventually has sex with her when she is 15 later in the story. So it's not about, oh, you know, he's reincarnated, so it's a completely different person. No, the fuck it's not. Because on the inside, whenever he's in his thoughts, this is what we see. We see the fat version. We see the fat version of himself on the inside. We hear his adult voice whenever he thinks. You know, you hear this grown man's voice. No one else can hear it but the audience. Now, because as audience members and we have the context, it should be disgusting. But instead you got a bunch of these brain dead fans making a bunch of excuses for it. This is a 49-year-old guy grooming and sleeping with a 15-year-old girl. You know what I mean? And it gets worse, right? This is when he was 7 years old in the fantasy world, so he's 41 years old total, right? And he says this, he says bad girls can't complain if someone takes their panties off, and then proceeds to try and remove the panties of a 9-year-old girl. Keep in mind, he is 41. He is 41, bro, right? There's no excuse for this bullshit. You know, so when I explained all of this, he started yapping and making a bunch of excuses, saying that, oh, well, in Berserk, you know, a lot of characters do bad things. Like, yeah, that's the point of a grimdark story, you fucking moron, right? So miss me with all of that bullshit and your nonsensical excuses. At the end of the day, you're just a piece of shit person. Right, you're into this show, you're trying to justify what happens in Mushoku Tensei because you're a fucking weirdo and you're cooked. Right, I think you're one of those fucking weird motherfuckers that just justify this shit because you are fantasizing about it as well. You know what I mean? So it just is what it is to me. I don't, me personally, I don't give a fuck what any Mushoku Tensei fan says. I think 100% y'all are weirdos, y'all are losers, morons, degenerates, right? I really don't care, right? You people, this is all you care about. I really think y'all are only into that show because it helps you, it gives you that extra good feeling, you fucking degenerates. You know, I think it's a fetish. I don't think this is about peak storytelling or anything like that, right? You look at the handsome person that Rudius was reincarnated as, and instead of him just trying to put aside all of those disgusting tendencies he had when he was in the real world, he just doesn't. The story just rewards him with a harem of women that he groomed, you know? So it just is what it is, right? So to all of the Mushoku Tensei fans out there who disagree, I really wish you were getting this work that Balder is getting from Guts right now, honestly. I really do wish someone would piece you up like that, because I think you're a piece of shit, right? To justify this type of degenerate bullshit, man. Right? Bam! Yeah, I wish that was you. But anyway, man, like, I just wanted to make this quick video. It ended up going a bit longer than I thought. Me personally, I think there's a way to write these things. Mushoku Tensei would not have any of the criticisms I'm giving it right now if they simply actually truly did a reincarnation, meaning wipe his memories completely clean when he was reborn into this new world. But instead of doing that, they just have him continue being this 40-year-old, right? Well, 49-year-old. Right, basically getting it on with a bunch of teenage girls. It's some weirdo shit, you know? So yeah, and then also it gets worse when you remember that the whole reason he got thrown out of his house here is because while he was 34, he got caught touching himself to his brother's daughter. I think his daughter was like 9 or something. It's crazy. How can you defend that? Anyway, if y'all agree with my takes in this video, please like and subscribe. If you disagree, go fuck yourself, and everybody else have a good rest of your day.